Welcome, sisters and brothers. Sulaiman Rahim here, Minister of the Covenant, breaker of the 7 seals. Sisters and brothers, I have a special presentation for you today. It's words from Elijah Muhammad, the messenger of Master Farrakhan Muhammad. His words. Now, we're going through the Holocaust. Everything that you're going to see in the next few days will be a result, primarily a result of the Holocaust, which they're denying, but they can't deny the consequences they're about to receive. So everything I talk about comes back to the Holocaust. Now, we have the accuser of our brethren, as it says in chapter 12 of the Revelations called the angel. That's FARRAKHAN. He's a demon. He has taken possession of the nation of Islam. Okay. He's part of the Holocaust. Okay. The Holocaust continues in a mental form, but it still continues. And now America's under judgment. And we see in this last broadcast they had on October 2nd, 2022, it's a total ripoff of what I've been saying without accrediting me and distorting the scripture by using part of the scripture and stealing. That's what falsehood is. Falsehood is not, see, that's the danger of falsehood. It's mixing truth with falsehood. It's mixing truth with lies. That's what falsehood is. That's what they've done. So they switch everything around. So, well, the Bible is 75% prophecy and 25% history. Well, that's not true. But anyway, they say that. And then they tell you what side is history, what side is true, and they play games. And if you've been paying attention to any of my presentations, they took a great deal of respect. And in fact, this week, they took a whole lot of it from this week, incorporated into their nonsense, because they're under fire. They're under fire right now. See? And so they got to start trying to recover, because they haven't been talking about all the things that's going on now in the world. And I have been. And so they're trying to regroup. So anyway, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get right to this presentation. Now what you're going to see here is, this is Elijah Muhammad talking to a Japanese reporter. Right. And he's saying things in here that you will not find in Message of Black Men, as I've been telling you. You will not find in Fall of America. You will not find that I'll Say Has Arrived, or How to Live, or any other of those books. Some of them you only find in Message of Black Men, which I have many old Message of Black Men. Well, I did mention Message of Black Men, but I meant to also say Muhammad Speak newspaper. I have many old copies of Muhammad Speak newspapers here. Could I just sell them? I was deal with the messenger. And many of those things you won't find there either. And then you have Table Talk, and you have Theology of Time. You have lots of things here. And a lot of these clowns like Eric, and they weren't even around then. They have no idea what they're talking about. And they got hold of Message of Black Man and Fall of America, and I'll Say Everybody. They think that's all these lies I'm taught, and I can tell you. 90% of what they taught is not in any of those books. And this is an example. And anyone listen to this and still, Farrakhan is a stone cold lying dog. Because no way you can listen to this and still be with Farrakhan. There's no way, absolutely not. Not just this. I could go all day long going Theology of Time. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to waste time with these clowns. I'm going straight after the jugular vein of these demons and finish them. But you can go through there and you can play these things back and say, how the hell can these people claim that they were Elijah Muhammad, claim that Farrakhan represents Elijah Muhammad, when Elijah Muhammad says things that's totally contrary, totally opposed to everything that clown's saying? Now, let me give you a couple of examples. Now, this is a lengthy interview here. It goes on about an hour and a half. I won't play the whole thing. So I'm going to say some comments in the beginning. I may interject in the middle, right? Say a few things. and I will have some commentary at the end. I'm doing the whole thing. If you want to fast forward through it, that's up to you. But I'm going to point out a couple things. One thing in there is Elijah Muhammad talks about Master Muhammad destroying America. He said he's going to take and he's going to ignite atoms, right? Explode atoms all over the atmosphere of the United States, and it's going to burn. I think take 390 years. The burn's going to burn the whole place up. Now, how is that when Farrakhan is saying America's not going to be invaded? We're going to hide America. We ain't going nowhere. That's totally contrary what Elijah Muhammad said God told him. So they're going to destroy this country. It's even the fall of America, actually. But you see on the page, but he said, we ain't going nowhere. We're going to hide America. So he's calling Elijah Muhammad a liar. And he's calling Master Muhammad a liar. And then another thing. See, Elijah Muhammad's talking about exploding atoms over the United States when that wasn't even a consciousness. See, these clowns are Eric and all these seven, they didn't even wear this because they weren't even alive then. See, they probably think they had atomic bombs back then. They didn't have atomic bombs back then. He's talking about something that wasn't even a consciousness of any European, in the world at the time. They wasn't even conscious. The best movies they had, the most scientific movies like Flash Gordon, those type of thing, the most powerful one were death rays. Death rays. Nothing about atomic bomb. What are you conscious? Nobody even thought about a so-called atomic bomb or splitting atoms back in the 30s. See? He's talking about it back then. He's talking about, he's going to lighten gravity. That's whole different things. He's talking about something I'm not going to go into it. Because there's a lesson that talks about that. It says, I can't say exactly, but it says the size of the split atom is 10 million parts, I believe it is. How much a cracked atom weighs? Cracked atom weigh? See, and then when you understand that lesson, because they're talking about nuclear explosion, I'm not going to explain it. They're talking about things before even anybody knew about it. Before they even had an idea of these type of things. Exploding atoms? There wasn't even consciousness in the world, anyone in the world, unless you was a scientist, original scientist, that was, outside, was outside of communication with the rest of the world, because we have some scientists alive. It tells you, Master Muhammad father was a scientist, but they don't let anybody know it. And he knew what other scientists were. See? So those type of things he's talking about. See? He's like, the devils definitely cannot be reformed. Right? He said they're going to get rid of all of them. But Farrakhan said, remember today he says, they can't be changed with the exceptions. Well, that's a lie then. With the exceptions. See? If you're saying all of them can be changed then. Devil is devil except for a few exceptions. So you can listen to this, brothers and sisters. Like I said, I'm going to play the whole thing. So I'm giving it and play it. Right? And then you can listen now at your leisure. I'm doing it live, right? But you can look at it later. And I'm going to have some information to say, maybe in the middle of it, right? Or especially at the end. But like I said, brothers and sisters, there's no way that you can listen to this present, what Elijah Muhammad is saying here, and still claim that you, and following Farrakhan, still claim that you, Elijah Muhammad and Master Muhammad, because you call them both of them liars. That means you're a no good liar yourself. So if you still with Farrakhan, then you're a demon, idiot, a viper, or just a stone cold sellout if you're not just an agent. Because we know Farrakhan's a demon. Follows the devil, that's what a demon is. So let me go on, because I said it's an hour and a half, right? And so I'm going to play. So let me set it up, and like I said, I may be saying things doing it, and I will have something to say afterwards. Okay, so hold on here, brother. Let me set it up for you. brothers and sisters. Okay. Let's go here. Okay, here we go.
Well, can we begin our interview now?
Just how long?
How long can you allow us?
Hour,
Half an hour?
2 hours tape, I think you have on there. Put it on 3 points. Yeah, that's what it's on there.
How long did you say?
That's a 2 hours tape.
A 2 hours tape?
Yes.
I see.
I didn't know how long
I see. Dunque, allora, 2 hours tapeがそれになってます。
Will that be enough time for you?
Oh yes, surely.
Well, whenever you...
Yes.
Yes, I just wanted to have enough tape.
Oh, I see.
Oh, test it out.
But still, they want the
訪問の理由は今、岩田さんを通じて申し上げました。
I have said the reason for his coming here to interview you.
それで、それではインタビューに入りたいと思いますが、私たちのドラッグモーツに関する知識は非常にやはり限られたものであると思いますので、失礼な質問がありましたら、その点はご寛容ください。
Our knowledge that we have in Japan is quite limited because of the lack of news of your movement here. So if we ask you some rude questions, you will allow us, you will forgive us.
No?
Please.
Oh. Well, that's all right. Ask any question you like.
どういう質問でも聞いてください。
それではまずあなたの主張をお伺いしたいと思います。これはできるだけ正確なことを知りたいためでもあります。
In order to know the fact, he'd like to know first of all the things that you advocate in your movement.
I would like to give you a little summary of our work. First of all, I am a divine appointed person. I am not a person that have picked up some kind of program on my own card. I am divinely sent to warn my people of the destruction of the white race here in America, especially number one. And since my people are here, right in the midst of them, God have asked me to warn them to join on to their own kind and separate themselves from the white man, because he is going to destroy him and the white race. And America's number one. He said he would destroy America's first, and the others later on, but America's goes first. All the American people that is in Asia and Africa, he will have them brought back here, and here will be the death of all of them. And my work is to warn my people of this destruction that is now coming to America, and to teach them a knowledge of self.
To teach white people, you mean?
Teach my people
My people.
the knowledge of self, and to clean them up and reform them. My work is to reform them. They has been following the white man for 400 years, and they do as he said do, and he has led them astray, and has gotten them practicing evil and filth. And my work is to reform them, make them fit for the acceptance of better society of our people in the world.
第一番目にですね、自分は何も自分だけのこの目的のためにですね、この地にあるのではなくてですね、神様が指名された地にあるわけだと。それが第一番目にしてまいりたいことだとですね。で、第二番目はですね、この運動の目的というのは白色人種を滅ぼすことにあるのであると。それで白色人を滅ぼす場合に、まず一番にはこのアメリカを滅ぼすというですね、そして次第に、全世界の白色人種をですね滅ぼすということに、あるというわけですね。Did you say that you were going to bring all the white people from all parts of the world to this land?
All the Americans that is living in other parts of the earth, Asia, Africa, the islands of the sea, he said he'd gather them all, bring them back here to kill them here in America.
全世界におるですね、白色人種をですね、全部ここに連れてきて、最初はアメリカ人ですよ。まずアメリカ人から始めたわけですね。そして、この国において殺してしまうと。これが目標とするところであるというですね。それからもう一つはですね、この今の時代にですね、適するような生活をですね、このマイピープルと言われたですね、自分たちの民族がすることができるようにですね、改革をすることだと。教育をして改革をすることだと。大体そういうことですね。
キリスト教についてはどういうお考えをお持ちでしょうか。
What is your opinion of Christianity?
The white man's organized religion, they enslave black people. I don't accept it as being a divine religion. It is a religion that was organized by white people for the purpose of deceiving black people with, to control and rule the black people under that religion. Christianity is a religion, their fundamental principles of belief is contrary to the divine principles of God. Their principles of belief is first a belief in God the Father, second the Son, third a Holy Ghost, and that they ascribe sonship with God. We don't believe in God having a son. He don't need a son. He's not married, and he don't need a son. So to charge him with getting a son by marrying out of wedlock, then he's considered to have committed an act of adultery, since the divine law teaches against getting children out of wedlock. So they charges God with that. And it is backed by the power of the Western white imperialistic people, and Rome is the capital of it, and it is a complete religion of the white people. We believe in Islam. We believe in God being one. We believe His prophet is one. believe in his prophet as one. In the last day, he has a prophet with him in the resurrection of the dead. We believe in him as Muhammad. And we believe that in the judgment of the world. We believe in the judgment.
Judgment.
Yes, sir. And the resurrection of the dead. But we actually believe that we are the dead, mentally dead, that must be resurrected first. The so-called American Negro, who is not a Negro, it's a slang the white slave masters give him. His real name is, he's a member of the black man of Asia from a tribe in that nation by the name of Shabazz. Shabazz.
Could you spell it?
S-H-A-B-A-Z-Z.
Could I interrupt you? キリスト教というのはですね、大体この神の意志にですね、この反するものであると私は思っているんですね。父、御子、御霊って言いますね。God, Father, Holy Ghost という信仰をやってるけれどもですね、これは結婚もしないですね、間から生まれてきたものの言うことを信ずることであってですね、私たちはついていけないと。また後で詳しく聞いてください。よくわからないところは。そして、もう一つはですね、自分たちはイスラムを信ずると。その神の神判とですね、そして、resurrection of the dead ですね、死人の、復活ですね。これを私たちは信ずると。キリストの言うこの God, Father, Holy Ghost じゃなくてですね、一つの神というものを信ずるというわけですね。You spoke about people being mentally dead. What do you mean by that? Your people are mentally dead now?
Mentally dead to the knowledge of self and their kind and God and the devil. They don't know these in reality.
そしてね、今はですね、自分の民族というのはですね、自分自身ということを知らないと。自分自身に対する民族意識がないと。それからですね、神のことを知らないと。それから死のことも知らないというわけですね。で、この死ぬことですね。自分の民族意識がないと。それから神様ですね、の意識がないと。それから死のことを知らないということ。本当はですね、ニグロと言っておられる、一般に言われてるけどもですね、それはそうじゃないというわけですね。その言葉は、白色人種がつけた言葉であってですね、実際はシャバースという言葉が本当なんだとですね、民族を表すですね。それでですね、そのように知らないからですね、自分たちの民族というのは今精神的に死んでいるということが言えると。これをですね、改革して、ちゃんと意識を持ったですね、人たちに仕上げていくのが一つの目標だということですね。
そうですね。
Now he has a question.
今まで私たちはブラックモスリムが白人社会からの絶縁を強く主張しているというふうにお伺いしていましたけれども、今モハメドさんのおっしゃることを伺いますと、さらに一歩進んで、白人を滅ぼすことであるとおっしゃったけれども、絶縁とするということよりも滅ぼすということの方が 前よりも強く考えをお変わりになったのか、あるいは。
I see. We have been told in Japan that the aim of black Muslims here is the separation of your people from the white folks. But since we have heard what you said now, your aim is really not only to separate yourselves from the white people, but to destroy the white people. Does that mean that your theory has changed, or it has always been the same?
That's right. We must be separated from the American white people. We have been here under them as slaves for 400 years. They have mistreated us. They have beaten and killed us night and day. For the duration of that time, 400 years, we are still deprived of justice in America. We are not looked upon wholly as a human being. We don't have the rights of a human being here, not to think of civil rights. And we are asking for total separation. And if America doesn't wish to return us, if America doesn't wish to return us where we came from, then I'm asking America to separate some of this territory where that we can live in a part of it to ourselves, set up our own borderline, and live and build a civilization like we want, and not as he wants. And that he, we believe that he is obligated, should be, to finance us, and that which we will not be able to produce for the next 25 years after total separation in some part of the earth that we can call our own country. He supports us there.
He has to support you.
Yes, sir. Until we are able to produce the needs of our people.
今ちょっと答えになっておりませんところがありますけれどもね、アメリカは過去400年間の間ですね、この我々の種族をですね、全く奴隷としてですね、虐待して殺してきたと。この間ですね、人間の正義というものは全然認められなかったしですね、人間としての権利も全然認めてもらえなかったというわけですね。それで、まずですね、我々はもう全然ですね、彼らと別れることを主張するわけだというわけですね。So you are thinking of going back to Africa if America takes care of that?
If America will return us back to Africa, that's just fine. We will go.
I see.
In the part owned by the Muslims, we can't carry Christian believer from here. We all have to be Muslims to return to Africa or Arabia, Pakistan, any of those Muslim countries. We have to be Muslim. And the Christians stay here with the Christian for the worse.
それでですね、彼らがですね、白人たちが連れてきたところのアフリカとかですね、あるいは他の海峡国、例えばですね、アラビアとかパキスタンとかいうところにですね、戻してもらえるならそれでもいいっていうわけですね。それで結構だけれどもですね、もし戻さないならばですね、このアメリカの国土においてですね、一部を我々に割いて、そこで独立した、その独特のですね、文明をですね、築き上げることをですね、させてもらわないかんと そしてこれはですね、白人の援助が必要だと、最初25年ぐらいですね、援助をしてもらって、そして、その後ですね、独立したところの文明をですね、築き上げるというふうに目標にしていると。
プロボス政策になったけど、これはどういう意味でありましょうか。
Could you describe a little bit more about the destruction or killing of white folks that you mentioned before?
As I said in the beginning, that God has revealed to me His purpose to destroy America. The time of all white people is up as ruling powers over dark, brown, yellow, and red races. His time is up. He was to live only 6,000 years on our planet and rule us under evil, to try the original people under a ruler of evil. He was made a devil from the very beginning. Yes, he was made a devil and was taught tricks how to trick the original darker people into believing a lie for truth and truth for lie, and to divide them and put one against the other so that he could rule them. That's what he has been successfully doing with us here in America and in parts of Africa. And most all over the world, wherever he gets hold of that particular people under Christianity, he deceives them. And that people automatically becomes a subject of his. And God says to me that he will destroy this country in one day, and that he said once it would be destroyed in 12 hours, and
Be destroyed in 12 hours.
in 12 hours. And I asked how. He says by cutting a short into gravity, causing the exploding of the atom over
Could you
America.
say that again, please?
Cut a shortage into gravity, and that will cause the exploding of all the atoms over North America and turn it into a complete flame of fire, as far up as air goes. It will be in a flame. And he said it will burn for 390 years.
God will destroy this part of the world, the whole world?
No,
This
just America alone.
world. By cutting a shortage on gravity.
Cutting a shortage, causing a shortage
Yes.
into gravity. Like a shortage, in electric.
Yes.
And that will explode all the atoms
Yes.
over the continent
Yes.
and turn it into a fire instead of air,
Yes.
become a flame.
それでですね、質問なんですかな。
Why you translate that?
神様はですね、自分に啓示をされたというんですね。啓示をされたのである。それがね、アメリカを、殺すようにと。もうすでにですね、過去6000年にもわたってですね、白人は、自分たちをですね、奴隷として、非常なひどい扱いをしてきたというわけです。それでですね、 いろんな悪辣な手段でですね虐待してきたわけだけれどもですね、その中には、彼らを黒人たちをですねこの一緒に住んでいるところをですね引き裂いて、そしてこの別々のところに住まわせるというようなことにしてですね、そして、自分たちのキリスト教の影響によってですねキリスト教化すると思うとですね、もうすでにこの知らない間に、白人に永住しているという状態にですね黒人はなってきたわけだというわけですね。それで、白人の支配の時代はもう過ぎたんだと、タイムズアップと言われてですね、白人の支配の時代は過ぎたのだということ、それが神の啓示であるというですね。それからまた神のおっしゃることがもう一つあるわけだと、それはですね、いつかですね、将来において12時間のうちにですねこのアメリカをですね火に包んで、この焼いてしまうというですね、ことを、12時間のうちにですね、このアメリカを、焼き滅ぼしてしまうということを神様は言われておるというわけです。でそれはですね重心ですね、グラビティ、重心といいますか地球のですね重心にですねショートで電気がショートするみたいにですねショートを起こしてですね、そして、それが火となってフレームとなってですね炎となって燃えてですね、あらゆる原子がですねこの爆発してこの炎となって燃えるという状態が起こりですね390年間燃え続けるであろうと、12時間のうちにですね滅ぼすけれども炎は390年間燃え続けるであろうというふうにですね神様はおっしゃっている。これが神様のちょっと大事な目のことですね。はい。
ここへ、行く前に私は、アメリカ人にいろいろ会いましたところがブラックモスリムの勢力は全体の黒人社会の 1% ぐらいだという小さな勢力だと言っておりましたが、実際はどのくらいあるでしょうか。またどういう活動をしておられるでしょうか。
He has been told in Japan that by white people that black Muslims account only for 1% of the colored folks in the United States. He wonders if this percentage is true. If you have any better information on this, you'd like to know. And also he'd like to know the activities, some of the activities that you are doing here.
We don't have a record of all the followers or believers. They are hard to keep up with. We get 100 today here, 50 over there, 25 here, 30 somewhere else, and then at the same time we get maybe 300 or 400 sympathizers. And you understand what? Not they really joining up with us, but they with us in idea. And in this way, they may run to 1 million in sympathy, and maybe 250, 300, or 400,000 actually registered. See,
You don't have a record? No.
we don't keep a total record of all of them, but we do have a record of over 200,000.
ですね、 あちこちにですね、100人とか50人とかいろいろこの信者をおるわけなんだけれどもですね、また、それをはるかに越すだけのですね、100人あるところでは300人というようなふうにしてですね、同調者といいますか、支持者というものをおるわけです。それでですね、そういうのはね、おそらく100万ぐらいに達するであろうと。で、はっきりした記録はですね、これに関してはないというわけですね。だけどですね、20万、実質20万だということが言えるだろうと。
白人フランス人なんかも入ってるっていう話ですが、白人ばかりじゃなくていろんな人種も入ってるんでしょう。
Are there other groups like French or of other nationalities in your group?
No, we don't have any other nationality. We have some not French people, but we have a few of your people.
What people?
We have a few of your people.
Oh, Japanese or
yes,
Chinese?
And Mexicans, we have some of them. And
Assalamu alaikum. As I said, I would interject periodically. A little bit ago, he mentioned about the destruction of America, how Master FARRAKHAN would do it. And he said that he would, one second, brothers and sisters, adjustment here. Said he would cause a shortage in gravity and cause the atoms to explode over America, destroying America, and it would burn for 390 years. Now I'm pretty sure that sounds ridiculous to this person he's talking to, and it sounds ridiculous to anyone else sounds we're talking to. But see, maybe I would understand what he said, and once I explain to you, you understand it too, if you know anything about what I've been teaching you and anything about physics. Now, Master Muhammad always spoke of force in terms of gravity. That's the key there. Because they have a lesson says an atom is split in 10 million parts. Right? A cracked atom. Atom is cracked into 10 million parts. How much does a cracked atom weigh? And I've never met anyone understood that lesson. So they disregard it. They think, well, you know. But remember, this lesson was revealed by Master Muhammad in the 30s, at a time when there was no conception of splitting atoms. There was no conception of atomic bomb. There wasn't in anybody's mind. There wasn't such a concept of atomic weapons at that time. Right? The most powerful weapon that they even had in the consciousness was so-called death rays, and that was near science fiction movies like Flash Gordon and stuff like that. No consciousness of split atoms. Now, Elijah Muhammad's talking about he's going to take and cause atoms to explode in the atmosphere. So there was no concept of that in the 30s. So he's talking now in the 60s, but this was something that was built him in his 30s when there was no concept of this. Now remember, Master Muhammad always, and everything I see in his lessons, he spoke of force in terms of gravity. Because he says, how much does a cracked atom weigh? And you look and you say, you're trying to figure out how you're trying to weigh a cracked atom, but weight and force is the same thing. Weight is just how you express force in terms, right, of gravity. See, because when you talk about in that sense, then you say, well, you say a weight. See, so when you talk in terms of holding things down, then you talk in terms of you call it weight, but it's force. Gravity is just force. So it is force. Right? It's actually a force differential, but it's still force. So when you said how much a cracked atom, how much force does a cracked atom have, then you're talking about, you understand the problem. They're talking about nuclear explosion. See, because he had to hide these things because he wasn't going to tell them about his power and the source of his power, he was going to reveal to them. So he told Elijah Muhammad in a way that would be, would camouflage it. So he says, how much does a crack atom weigh? But if you just change it, says how much force does a crack atom have? It's the same thing, just different weighting. Instead of using weight, use force, because weight force say, then you say that's nuclear explosion, because you got all these atoms, right? You got atoms split, you got all these photons moving out with the speed of light, right? So how much force they have, that's a nuclear explosion. He was talking about when they didn't have nuclear explosion. Now, when you understand that in this context, then look at what he said just now. He says he's going to cause a change in gravity, right? See, force. Because that's what caused time bombs to explode. Is either fission or fusion. Both are force. Fusion is the most powerful one, where force is atoms together, and you get that's the most powerful explosion. You force all that force. You force atoms together, right? Like the uranium bomb that they say Iran's trying to make. That's a fission bomb. That's the small one. That's the one used in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right? That's the opposite, right? You're cracking atoms at that point. That's cracked atoms. That's fission, right? That's force. It takes force to do that. Same thing. It takes fusion. It takes force, pressure. That's force, and that's what he's talking about. He's going to use fusion bombs to blow up the atmosphere, explode the atmosphere. That's exactly what he's talking about. See, but like I said, he usually talks about force. When he talks about force, he's always saying gravity or weight, those terms, right? One of the lessons, you have to study them. But when you understand that gravity, right, is force, you just flip the script and say, okay, don't say gravity, just use force. And then you understand what he's talking about. But either way, he's talking about this country being blown apart with nuclear explosions, and I always told you that's how America is going to be nuked, right? At a time where there was no concept of nuclear explosions, no concept of cracked atoms in the 30s, no concept of fission, bombs, anything, nothing like that, not even close. No one had any idea that kind of stuff. It took Einstein in the 40s, late 40s, to tell him that something like that was possible. You understand? So keep that in mind, brothers and sisters. See? So, and when he's telling you that that's what Master Muhammad told he's going to do to America, then how in the hell are we staying here unless you plan on being barbecued, Farrakhan? So is Elijah Muhammad a liar? Is Master Muhammad a liar? You know something different? Because he said his main target is to destroy America. And he said F, maybe, whatever. And he said the only reason we stay here, right, is F. They won't allow us to leave, which makes sense. Right? But as obviously, Master Muhammad, when it burns up, he'll take us out of here, like it says in Daniel, he'll deliver us out of here before he blows this place apart. Farrakhan, there's no way that you can listen to this, what Elijah Muhammad is saying here, and still be with Farrakhan if you're claiming you're Elijah Muhammad and you're Master Muhammad. Secondly, another thing he mentions is about you can only leave out here when we go back, return home, right, to Africa, that part of the world, as a Muslim. See, that's an insinuation about this divide. He said the Christians can't let stay for the worst. That's because he never taught on demons, right? Remember, he's responsible to teach both the chaff and the wheat. And the chaff, right, that's the Christians. He says they ain't gonna carry, they can't go. That's why I tell you, demons ain't going nowhere. That's what the Stoics lesson that he's talking about. You understand? Now, when he understood, he told you what Master Muhammad told him. When he understood it himself, that's another question altogether. Because the lesson says he didn't get it 100% correct. But I'm just explaining to you. See, because Master Muhammad knew I would understand it. And these callers here, Eric, they don't understand it. They don't understand it at all. They don't understand any of this. See? And they probably never even heard this interview. So I thought it was worth playing. All of them were worth playing, but this one is special because they talk about certain things in here, right, that you can go find in any of those books. They're very powerful. See, so let's continue.
Panama and down through the Central American we have some.
で、白人
But we don't say that we have foreign people when it comes to you, but French and the American people are the same almost. They're white people.
Yeah.
And we just exclude all whites.
白人は全部排斥して入れないのだったですね。まあ、東洋人とか、あるいはメキシコ、パナマなんかのですね、中米ですね、の人は少し入ってると。しかしながら、フランス人はもうアメリカ人と変わらないんだから。
で若い学生層が非常に多いという話も聞いていますが、どういう黒人の中でもどういう層の人が教養を感じているんでしょうか。
What are the kinds of colored people who are the believers of your belief? There are quite a few students, I'm told. Is that true?
About 99% of them is all my people here in America. There are Africans who wants to join up, and some of them accept. They are in here just going to school, colleges, universities,
Yes.
but still they want to join up with us.
Yes. Would you say more than half of students?
Well, I have probably all of them sympathizing with me, but actually to register up with us, we don't have many of them on the register because we not so particular about registering them up because they already is in the safe zone. The main thing we are after is getting our people out of America.
Yes.
And if we can't, okay, we God may, if it pleases him, he take Americans from them and give us a place here.
Yes.
Yes.
大体の一番望むことはですね、このアメリカが出ていって元のアフリカに戻ることだというわけですね。で、さっき言いましたように、それがうまくいかないならですね、もし神の意志であれば、このアメリカを奪ってしまうことだというわけですね。それで、
ボスよりも仲良くやってバスのという
テイクというわけですね。アメリカを取ってしまうというですかね。それでですね、学生っていうのはですね、まあ割と少ないと、まあそれいわゆる同調者を考えるならば非常に学生多いけれどもですね、登録ということにはそう力を入れてないというわけですね。でまあ、大体その中の 99% は自分たちの民族だと。99% は。
だから貧しい人たちが多いんでしょうか。
Most of these poor people, would you say?
Well, we have a few that is wealthy, just a few, but the greater percentage of them are real poor people. I would say 90% or more are poor people.
90% は非常にですね、貧しいと言えると思うと。しかし少数は金持ちだと。
で教団はですね、その他にも例えばいろんな活動をしておられると思いますけれども、いろんな活動をしておられると思いますが、麻薬やですね、酒を飲むという悪い習慣を断つように黒人に呼びかけておられるということを聞きましたが、いい面の活動の話を少ししていただけないだろうか。
We have been told that your movement is partly composed of encouraging people to get rid of the habits of dopes and drugs. Would you give us some other movement that you are engaged in this respect?
Anyone that follows me, he will have to quit dope and such thing as tobacco and alcohol, drinking, beer and whiskey. What I mean, alcohol is drink. And no drunkards, no dope users, and no people who love to have games of chances, idling at that time away, and foolishness. If they come to us, we try and break them from such habit and to teach them to take life serious, that it was not given to us for sport and play. And especially us, while we are slaves, we should be thinking, trying to find a way out to self-independence. This is what we want, is self-independence from the white man.
ですね、自分に従おうとする人はですね、すべてその麻薬とか、タバコ、アルコールですね、もちろんビールも含むものであるけれども、それからですね、あらゆる掛け事ですね、これはすべて投げ捨ててですね、もらわなくちゃいけないということに来てると。体という、人間の体というものは何もですね、遊ぶためにできているものではなくてですね、真剣にですね、考えなくちゃいけないというわけです。我々が今考えなくちゃならないことは、そういうですね、遊びではなくて、独立した、国を作り上げることだと、そういうところじゃないというわけですね。
We don't like gambling, and we gotta unite our people so that they will love each other. They must love each other, and each brother must be sacred. He must not draw the blood of his brother. What I mean by that, fighting each other. And they must not quarrel with each other. They must live in peace with each other. And they must stand up and fight and die for the cause with any enemy that is against us. If he attacks us, we are never to be the aggressor ourselves, but if he attacks us, we are to fight until we all are dead to try and win.
それですね、我々はこの我々の民族をですね、統一するという必要性に迫られているのであってですね、その民族の中ではですね、血を流したり喧嘩をしたり戦ったり戦い合ったりすることがですね、あってはならないと。しかし一方ですね、自分たちのその大義にですね、反するような構図ですね、自分たちの使命に反するようなことをですね、する者があったならばですね、それ死んでもですね、それを大義を守るために戦わなくちゃならないと。自分たちの民族が全部なくなってしまうまでもですね、最後まで頑張って戦わなくちゃならないという気持ちでおります。
例えば自分たちの使命にですね、反対するのとは、NAACP などのようなアメリカ社会に協力するという団体のことを指すわけでしょう。
You said you have to fight against people who are against your cause. Does it include people who are like NAACP?
We fight them with the truth. We never intend to attack our own people unless they attack us.
ですね、相手がですね、我々を攻撃しない限りは、こっちからですね、攻撃を仕掛けていくというですね、意図はもうと思ってないと。
The NAACP and the Corps are pleading to the white people for jobs and for social equality only. And that's no future for us. We want earth to build our own nation, produce our own nation's needs. That's what we're after.
その NAACP っていうのはですね、ものはですね、白人に対してお願いして仕事をくださいとか、あるい 々は平等に扱ってくださいということをお願いしているけれどもですね、それだけでは将来というのがないのであってですね、我々は将来を求めて自分たち自身の土地が必要なのだというわけですね。
ブラックコンス力に入っている方々たちもアメリカ市民権を取っているというふうに私は考えます。そうしますと当然アメリカ社会に対する忠誠心とかあるいは愛国心とかということが問題になってくると思いますけれども、この点ではいかがでしょうか。
He assumes that the members or believers of black Muslims are citizens of the United States of America. If you are a citizen of America, you have to be loyal to America. In this connection, he'd like to ask for your comment.
We cannot and never will be citizens of America as long as we are here. We cannot be.
You cannot be
We
citizens.
cannot be citizens here. Our father was brought here as slaves.
Yes.
And that slave court is that no alien or foreign people of our kind, the dark people, no aboriginal can ever be a citizen of America. And that we are the property of America, never to be redeemed. That's that court. That we cannot even redeem ourselves. And therefore, we don't consider ourselves citizens of America. It's just only in word. It cannot be in deed because they don't treat us as a citizen. And in fact about it, they don't treat us as a human being. And we can't be citizens of America.
Yeah.
We are from Africa, and they have never made us citizens. They didn't bring us here for no such thing, purpose as making us citizens. They brought us here for slave purposes.
ですね、アメリカ人は我々をですね、スレイブと奴隷としてですね、連れてきたのであってですね、市民として連れてきたのではないわけだというわけですね。それで我々はですね、言葉では市民ということが言われておってもですね、実際上市民ではありえないというわけですね。Indeed と in words ということです。言葉が市民と言っても実際上では市民ではありえないというわけです。
今公民権運動が盛んに行われておりますけれども、もしこの公民権法案が通りましても、エライジャさんのお考えはお変わりになりませんでしょうか。
Now many people are engaged in civil rights movements, and if this great problem or movement works out well, your theory or idea will never have changed.
I never will change regardless if the government gives our people civil rights. I still will be fighting for separation.
たとえ公民権というものをですね、我々全面的に与えてくれてもですね、なおですね、その婦人社会と分かるためにですね、戦いはもちろん大変ですね。
私たちは教団のことをもっと詳しくできればお伺いしたいと思いますので、教団の生まれたいきさつ差し支えなければお話になりますでしょうか。
Or you'd like to know how your movement has got started in the first place.
On the coming of Mr. Farrakhan, his name, Mr. Farrakhan, F-A-R-D
F-A-R-D.
Muhammad.
Mr. Fard, did you say?
Well, that would be the
F-A-R-D?
pronunciation in English, but we in the Arabic
Yes,
it's Farrad.
Fard.
Yes, Farrad. We're not the
先の人ですね。
for fraud.
先の人、フォードさんってあと言うた人です。この人。あと言いたい人、デトロイト。Detroit. He made a speech in Detroit. Yes.
Came here in 1930. I met him in 1931 in Detroit, Michigan. And he was and he is my teacher today. He is the one that I represent as Allah, meaning God, in person, whom the Bible, prophets, and whatnot predict this coming one at the end of the white race time. In Arabic, they call him the Mahdi, one who is coming self-independent to guide the world back into Islam and to kill the infidels. We say God in person.
Alright. Mr. Fard came from Africa?
Holy city Mecca, Arabia.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
In 1930.
30, yes sir.
1930年にですね、そのファードさんというのはアラビアのメッカからですね、こちらに渡ってこられてですね、そして31年に私はお会いしたと。で、彼が私の先生であり、また今もですね、先生であるということですね。今もちょっと終わりますよ、これをですね。そして、バイブル聖書がですね、自分が彼ですね、アラであってですね、そして、白人の統治が終わった時にですね、そして独立が実現した時にですね、全世界というか、その社会をですね、治めるものと指定されたわけだったんですね。Did Mr. Fard appoint you as Allah or God or Bible? Or did you clarify that point?
No sir. As his messenger.
As Mr. Fard?
I'm the messenger
of God.
Yes.
Yes. And in what position did Mr. Fard appoint you?
He's God himself. And I am his messenger.
ファードさんがですね、神様自身であってですね、ファードさんが神様自身である、そして自分はですね、その召使いである、召使いというかメッセンジャーであるというわけでですね、そのファード氏のですね、使命を帯びてやってるわけです。
今ファードさんはどうしてない？
Where is Fard living now?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know. That is something that we just don't know. It's actually whereabouts.
Not because it is a secret, but we just don't know.
Just don't know.
秘密であるわけじゃないけど知らないの。But how do you get instructions or teachings from us?
Well, he left me enough to last me for about, I would say, about 40 years. And he gives me instruction now, but it comes, a word in the ear.
直接聞くわけじゃなくて耳からですね、彼の指令っていうのは入ってくるというわけですね。そしてそうでなくてもですね、40年分ぐらいのですね、教えはですね、もうすでに、与えられておるからですね、当分必要でないという。
それではですね、差し支えなければ、モハメドさんご自身のことについても少しお伺いいたしたいと思いますが。
If it's alright with you, he'd like to ask your own personal problems. I mean, your history, your date of birth, things like that.
I was born 1897, October the 7th.
October
The 7th, 1897.
1897.
97, yes.
Isn't it?
And I was brought up in the state of Georgia on the farm. My father, he farmed. He grew cotton and corn and other farm products.
Or he was employed by a white man.
He was on the white man, yes, sir. Well, he didn't own his own land. He rented the land
Yeah.
and for farming.
ジョージアに生まれたんですね。じゃあ農場にですね、お父さんは農業をやっておったと。小作人ですね。白人から土地を借りて作ってた。レントをしてた。
At the age of 22, around 22, I married. And I moved from Georgia to Detroit, Michigan in 1923.
You must have been 25 at that time in 1923.
About
Yes.
25
Yes,
when I left Georgia.
I see. But you married at
About 22.
約に
I left about 3 years after I married.
I see. 約21の時にですね、結婚をしてですね、まあおよそ3年近くですね、してからジョージアからデトロイトに移った。1923年だったかな。デトロイトに移った。23年。
I lived in Detroit for 10 years and moved from Detroit here in 1934, and I've been here since that time. 49 years.
10年間ですね、デトロイトで、暮らし、それから1934年にシカゴに移った。シカゴに。それからずっとこちらに住んでいます。
シカゴ。
ね。
それで奥さんは今でもお元気ですか？
You said you married when you were 21 or 22. Is your wife still healthy?
Yes, sir. She's still alive.
You live with her?
She's in Egypt at the time.
Oh, in Egypt?
Yes, sir. She lives.
ここに住んでるけど、今はエジプトに行っておられる。奥さんはまだ元気だった。
She's visiting her son. Our son, we have a son in L.E.G.I.O.N. University.
Al-Azhar.
Yes, sir.
Could you please?
L.E.G.I.O.N. A-L.
A-L.
A-Z-A-R.
アラザーでですね、息子さんが大学に行ってる。
アラザってここにある。
Where is the Al-Azhar, please?
That's in Cairo, Egypt.
カイロですね。エジプトのカイロにあると。はい、息子さんが。How many children have you?
8.
8人の子供。
6 boys and 2 girls.
6人の息子。2人がおる。
こちらにいらっしゃる方も息子さんでございましょうか。
Mr. Sharif?
Yes, Sharif.
Sharif,
That's my son-in-law.
son-in-law, your daughter's,
Yes, sir. My oldest daughter.
一番上のお嬢さんの
旦那さん。
旦那さんですね。
He has been following me ever since he was around about 16, 14 years old.
14歳の時からですね、ずっと信者になっておられる。May I ask your age now?
44。
44. That's right. This is 30 years.
それでカイロの大学行ってらっしゃるのは、何番目の息子さんでございます。息子さんでしょうか。
Alright. Is the son that you mentioned just now who is going to school the eldest son?
No, he's the youngest son of all. He's the baby of all of my
一
family.
番下の子ですね。
His name is Akbar.
アクバック。
It's A capital A-K-B-A-R. Akbar Muhammad.
アクバ
Yes, sir.
モハメド。アクバマホメドといって一番下のお子さんですね。
もう残りのお子さんは大学卒業されてアメリカで、おられるんでしょうか。
How about the other sons? The other five sons?
I have other 5 sons.
Yes, they are in the States. United
Yes, sir. They all. Yes, sir. They all is here, all except that one. They live right here in Chicago.
Oh, I see.
Yes, sir.
But they are not living with you in this house.
No, they are married.
They are married and live in Chicago.
Yes, sir.
They live in Chicago. 全部シカゴに住んでおられる。その人だけ除いて。
何をどういう仕事をしてるんですか。
What are the occupations that your sons
But they
are?
mostly work for the movement.
They all fight for the movement.
Yes, sir. They
Support you.
And they work in for business such as the stores, and cleaning establishment, and some is in the mosque, the temple,
Yes.
that have jobs there.
店を持っ
I
たり
was work on the paper stamp.
Newspaper you mean?
Yes, sir.
ニュースペーパーやったりですね、店をやったり、クリーナーの仕事やったりですね、教会、をマスクですね、やったりしておられるみんな。そしてみんなこの運動に、運動に協力しておられると。
そのうちにはそうすると、エライザさんと娘さんの旦那さんとだけがお住まいになる。
Please excuse us asking for personal questions, but what are the members who live in this particular house now?
This in my home here is my daughter and her husband over here,
Yes.
who has 5 children.
5 children.
5, 4, 5, yes, but we have 5.
Yes.
1 son and 4 daughters. And I have an elder sister of mine live here.
She's not married.
She's not married, no, sir. She's pretty old. She's in her 70s. Her husband is dead.
I see.
And we have 2 secretaries that live here in the house. Personal secretaries.
その娘さんとそのご主人ですね、5人の子供がおって1人の息子と4人の娘さんがおるというわけですね。それから初期的な仕事をしている方が2人、それからあとこの先生の娘さん、結婚してないと。
で子供の頃に何か非常に強い印象をお受けになったことはおありでしょうか。その小作のお父さんの一人の強い印象を。
Or when you were being raised on the farm back in Georgia, did you get some stimulus, particular impressions that has led you to this movement?
Well, I was on the farm working for my father. I was not married at the time. I was at home with him, and I helped him on his farm. And from a child up, as far back as around 7, 8 years old, I used to want to read, learn to read, and study the Bible. And religion I was studying up until the time that I was called to teach.
Yes.
Yes.
That was in Detroit.
In Detroit, yes.
大体ですね、農場では、お父さんの仕事の手伝いなんかで働いたわけだと。しかしながら、青年の時からですね、非常に読書が好きでですね、特に、バイブルなんかは研究をしたというわけですね。そして、そういうことがデトロイトでですね、神の召しを受けるまでは続いたんだと。
お疲れでないでしょうか。
I'm afraid, we are afraid that you are getting tired.
No, not getting tired. You have some other important questions?
重要な質問があれば、
はい、それでは、ブラックモスレムがアメリカの国際問題について無関心であるということをアメリカの新聞に報道されていますが、この批判についてどうお答えになるでしょうか。
Newspapers all over the world report that black Muslims are indifferent to the present American international policies. Is that true?
Is what?
American international policies at the present stage.
Is independent. What did you say?
Yes.
Independent. To the American policy.
Yes. Indifferent.
Indifferent.
Yes.
To her policy.
Yes. Shows no interest.
Well, one thing about it, in the first place, Americans don't have us participating in her policy making. The so-called American Negro don't take part in the making of America's policy. And we are not interested in it because we want to get out of America. We want to get out from under his power. That's what I mean when I say get out of America. We want to go for ourselves. We are tired of being dominated by a cruel enemy who has no mercy on us.
第一に、アメリカのその国際政策ということにはですね、ニグロが今のところ関係してないということ、これが一つの理由だというわけですね。それからもう一つは、我々の目的というのはアメリカから取っていることであってですね、この虐待をしてきたアメリカ人の元にはもう折れないというわけで、自然無関心になってくるということですね。
ご自身でもそうなんですか、無関心である。
You yourself is of course indifferent to the policies that have been adopted by the Kennedy administration.
Well, I don't take any part in it and don't have knowledge of their policies. When it comes to our nation outside of America, I have not any knowledge of it, and so therefore I can say that I'm done this for a cause, but I have nothing to do with it. We don't take no part in it, and we know very little about their policies.
FARRAKHANなんかの政策についてはですね、よく知らないというわけですね。なぜならば、我々というのは、彼らとは関係ないことだからというわけですね。彼らの政策と関係ない。
もう少しよろしくお願いします。
He had only a few more questions.
That's all right. Just take your time.
やはりアメリカ人たちが言ったり新聞に書いたりしていることなんだけれども、ブラックモスレムはヒトラーの民族主義と同じではないかというようなことを我々は時々読んだり聞いたりするわけなんですが、この点はいかがでしょうか。
It has been reported in newspapers that the activity of the black Muslims is quite similar to the activities of the Hitler administration in his nationalistic nationalism?
Well, if Hitler wanted to make his people a better people and keep them to themselves and not to mix up with any other outside races, I have no objection to a race want to be themselves and keep that race pure. I think that's a fine policy. This is what I want to do, is to get my people out of the hands or the power of Americans who are destroying them by intermixing their blood with them. And this is destroying us here with him. And he seeks now to force an integration which will further destroy us through intermarriage and intermixing and sweethearting and causing of legitimate children of his, and our people will eventually sink into nothing. We won't be able to point with pride to say, here's one of us. If we keep allowing him to visit our home, come among our women folks, and leave children there by himself. I intend to put a stop to it if I can get enough behind me, even if it caused death of the woman and the man that is mixing. Fine. I intend to do it if I ever get a little stronger.
ヒトラーというのはですね、その民族の純粋をですね、目標にしてですね、他の民族と区別をして自分たちだけのですね、民族を作り上げようというですね、点においてはですね、全くこの賛成だと、ヒトラーの政策にですね。で、自分たちのやってることもですね、その点ではこう似たようなものであるというわけですね。で例えばこの黒白の共学とか差別撤廃の問題ですね、インテグレーションの問題にしてもですね、自分としてはこれはやめたいと思うと。で我々が、十分に強くなったならば、なぜならばですね、こういうことは、この自分たちの民族の誇りというものを捨ててしまうということにつながるからであると。共学とか交わることですね。これが結局ですね、黒白の結婚ということにもつながってですね、民族としての誇りがなくなってしまうというわけだから。わかりますか？賛成である。そうそう。はい。それからですね、こう話がちょっとずれてるみたいな話が。で、この国におけるですね、そのインテグレーションの黒白を一緒に住むというような、住まわせようというような運動がですね、起こっているけれども、これはですね、自分としてはできるだけ運動が強くなり次第やめたいと思うというわけです。なぜならこういうのは黒白の結婚ということを導くだろうし、そして民族としての誇りをですね、なくさせることになるからです。だから結局in other words, can we look upon your ism as a nationalism in terms of races?
Well, I don't say that I have an ism in the first place. We don't have an ism. As I said in the beginning, my work is to separate our people from the white man. and put an end to the destruction of both moral and life of our people under the white man.
Both moral and
Life.
life.
He's destroying both.
まあそれは自分自身には主義があるかどうかはですね、わからないというわけですね。さっき言いましたように、その精神的な面、あるいは、ライフですね、命というものをですね、黒人、自分たちの民族に、持たせるということ、作ることですね、が目標にあるわけだから。
それではケネディとかですね、アーサー・スピーガンっていうの？アーサー・スピーガン。アーサー・スピーガン。それは NAACP のロイ・ウィルキー。それからクレイトン・パウエル。これは黒人の方に若いんですが、黒人についても同様無関心であります。
In the same way that you are indifferent to Kennedy administration, are you indifferent to Arthur Spiegel, the leaders of the movement, and Wilkins and Mr. Powell?
These organizations that you are referring to, who the head is Martin Luther King,
Yes, Martin.
and Wilkins,
Yes.
the sitting in the NAACP's activity in the South to try to get equality with the whites in transportation and eating places and living quarters and fair employment. This is all right for people who want to remain as a subject people, but I am not one to be a subject people any longer. I want to be independent. I want to see my people on earth here that they can call their own earth. And they up off from their knees, going after their needs instead of laying down at the feet of the white people, praying to them on their knees and bellies, begging them for what they have, instead of going, uniting, go out here and get some of this good earth here, and go to work and get whatever our people need. There we can get it out of the earth without begging. We want the freedom to go do something for ourselves.
I see. Thank you.
Yes.
大体今分かったかと思いますけどね、その彼らがですね、人種の平等をですね、主張して、例えば交通機関とか、あるいは食堂だとか、住居だとか、あるいは食だとかいう面でですね、運動をしていると。これはですね、白人の隷属のもとに甘んずる人たちにとってはですね、結構だというわけですね。いつまでも白人にお願いして、何ください、これくださいと、このお願いする人たちにとってはそれでもいいだろうと。自分の求めるとはですね、そういうんじゃなくて独立であるんだから、自分自身の土地、何も人に、物乞いしなくてもですね、自分の欲しいもの、必要なものがですね、得られる土地を選択しなさい。
では、ラストクエスチョン。最近やはり、最近ですね、私たちはいろんな若い黒人に会ったところがかなり表明をしている人もおりました。またある程度同調しながらもついていけないという人もいました。だから非常に私たちこの運動に興味を感じたわけなんですが、運動の資金というものは一体どこから出ておるんでしょうか。
Now, he has met quite a few colored people in the United States since he came over. And some of the Khmer folks said that they sympathize with your movement here, but others said that they cannot go along with you. And others said that they can go along with you to a certain extent, but above that they cannot go along. And Mr. Tsuji is interested in knowing how you collect funds to carry out your movement.
All the believers, followers, they give whatever they can of their earnings. They love the teachings and they want to be free of the white man, and they give all they can to support this teachings throughout the country. And that the others who are dependent on the white man to support them forever, we're not concerned over them. They want to be too proud to accept the program that I have for my followers, and God, who have given it to me, that's their material with me. Whether they go along or not, we will be the winner.
Uh, それでね、そのお金というのはですね、
毎日の生活をどうしていらっしゃるか、例えば講演旅行していらっしゃるとか、大変お忙しいだと思うんだけれども、そのような生活をしていらっしゃるか。
He'd like to know some of the routines that you have in your daily life. You must be very busy, engaging in many activities. He'd like to know some of the things that you do every day.
Well, my greatest work is answering correspondence here and throughout the world, and forming speeches. I say and forming.
Yeah, informing.
Yeah, not informing, but forming. F-O-R.
Yes.
M-I-N-G.
Yes.
Forming speeches.
Yes.
For the people, and taking care of problems of domestic affairs and business affairs of my followers. That's my daily work.
だいたいですね、世界の人たちおよびこの国内の人たちにですね、いろいろな問題を答えてやること、そして、お話演説会みたいなものをですね、世話すること、そして、その信者の人たちのですね、仕事とかあるいは、家族のことをですね、面倒見てやることという様子ですね。
大変お忙しいわけですね。
That makes you quite busy.
ご自身の講演
About 2 more minutes.
Do you make speeches
Brothers and
quite
sisters,
often?
about 2 more minutes.
No, not too often since that I have been bothered with gun conversation.
Yes. ちょっと
But I do it in writing.
機関士演ですね、あんまりできないけど、あんまりしないと。けれどもですね、書く方でやると。新聞もらいましょう。Could we get a copy of your newspaper of any date?
Yes, sir.
To see what.
Give you the latest copy. Yes, sir.
初め入ってこられた時にご用心かと思っ
I
た
have 3 or 4
思ったんだけれども、そうではない。
The first impression that he got of you was that you may be from the Far East.
Oh. No, sir.
No.
Not from the Far East.
Nice. Your ancestors were born in Arabia?
No, sir. Born here in America.
in America. Oh,
Yes.
so they came from Africa.
Yes.
Really?
That's right.
Africa?
Descendants of Africa.
So your father and mother were both colored people?
Yes, sir, they are.
But your skin is lighter than many colored
Well, due to the double mixing in our people's blood, you know, and we had them under slave. Yes.
どれない間にね、違う間にしたんだろう。
あれに取られる。
Yes. You look more like Chinese or Japanese so far as skin is
Not
concerned.
people.
Yes.
Used to mistake me sometimes
Oh.
for such, and FBI, when they arrested me back in 42 for this teaching, they asked me, did people mistake me to be one of Chinese or Japanese? So I told them I didn't know. They said these things I don't know.
FBI にですね、42年に捕らえられた時もですね、FBI の連中がですね、そういう質問をしたって。
Dr. Takahashi, he used to visit my home. That's when I lived in Detroit. And he would have his meals at home. That was when I first started this movement.
I see.
Yes.
FBI にやっぱりこの問題で逮捕されたわけでしょ。
What was the reason on that particular time when you were arrested by FBI?
Well, guess they didn't want me to be out teaching my people that they was Muslims, and they didn't have no right to be in the war that they was in. They should not participate in a war against our own people. Going to war against you at the time, and that we should not fight our own people for my enemy of us both.
我々同じですね、米国人の中でその戦争を起こすようなことはですね、いけないというわけだ。
主張がダメに捉えられた。
そうですね。
本当に大変長い間ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much. I appreciate your patience.
That's all right.
Sitting here so long.
Too glad because of the time that we're in now and what we are expecting of the change. We should meet sometime to talk.
まあ今ですね、この変動の時代ですね、これからも変化するだけのこういう時代に、できるだけこういう機会を持って話してなと思ってると。
I'm very glad to get his appointment with the head of the great newspaper of your country. I'm very much honored to have him to visit my home. I hope that someday in the future, if he ever is in the state, to stop by again, we would be too glad to furnish him any material of ours. To put in his paper.
まあ、どういう資料でも喜んでいただけますからお呼びになってください。Well, thank you very, very much.
You're so welcome. So very, very happy to Yes, sir. We drink coffee most of the time.
I see.
But would you have some coffee or tea or anything? We don't drink much tea. We're mostly coffee drinkers.
大体コーヒーを飲んでですね、お茶もあんまり飲まない。Your son-in-law told me that you spent some time of the year in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yes, sir.
For health reasons?
Yes, sir. I've been living out there off and on for over a year now.
I see.
And I'm thinking of returning to Phoenix sometime next week.
来週まで行く。
中国の陶器がだいぶあるようですけれども、あれはああいうものがお好きなんでしょうか。
Are you interested in Chinese wares? like you have there?
We understand all our people, and all of them, other than the Caucasian devils.
コケシャンを白人を持ったですね。あらゆる人、民族的に持ってる。
あれみんな息子さんでしょうか。
Are they the pictures of your sons?
This one on the corner here
Yes.
is not my son, that's my nephew,
Oh, your nephew. おいごさん。
a sister's son. And the next one is my own picture.
Yes.
And the other one over here is my wife.
Oh, I see.
And the other one on the other corner is
Yes.
my son.
I see.
This one over here is my son. This is
I know.
my wife, this is myself, and this is the nephew.
What does the son at the corner do now? He's not the one that is a student, is he?
This one here,
Yes.
he's active in the temple.
I see.
Yes, he's always in the temple.
一応向こう。
一緒にかぶってる奥さんでしょ。
奥さんですね。
ご本人。
はい。これはおいごさん。おいごさん。
あれですか。もう一人の彼ですか。
多いですか？
多いです。
それは娘の向こうでしょ。Does this nephew have his own temple to help you?
Well, they all help me throughout the country.
Yes.
The temples are all on the one area. Wherever they are, it's just the same as this one, all on one area. Yes, sir.
But not all the Muslim temples cooperate with you.
All cooperate on me. I direct all of them.
Really?
Yes, sir. I'm the head and director of all.
I see.
Yes.
ムスリム全ムスリムの支配をしてるんですね。全米の。
この調度品はみんな新しいようですが、最近総裁つけられたものかどうか。
The much of the furniture that you have here in this room seems to be quite new. You have recently bought these?
Yes, sir. Some of it. My followers give me one piece. One give me this. One give me that. And another one give me. It's from different ones of my followers.
I see.
They give me what I have here. I don't never buy anything myself. I'll let my followers buy and give it to me as gifts. This rug, it came from Egypt. It was given to me there. They just shipped it here. I have two more that was sent here from the president.
President of who?
Nassi of Egypt. The
エジ
president.
プトの大統領。なってるから、まあ、それがこれと以外ね。これじゃない。President Nasser gave you rug. Nasser gave you rug.
Yes, sir. Egypt has one or two very nice ones upstairs.
Or do you get some donation in your movement for the Egyptian government too sometimes?
No.
You don't. You don't.
I never explained.
I see. You get help on individual basis.
Yes, inside. I will not.
まあ、そういう政府なんかですね、金の援助は全然もらわないけど、こう住んでた。And this is the house that you moved in when you came from Detroit to Chicago. Or have you lived in?
Oh, I rented a also from next street over from Michigan Avenue, where I lived on Michigan too.
Oh,
And I moved several times.
I see.
Renting it before on this place.
This place
My
is...
followers bought this place for me in 1951.
I see.
Yes.
51年にこれですね、近所が買うてくれた。それまでは借りてくれた。失礼しました。Well, very much.
Oh, you don't have to thank me, I thank you. I'm honored for you to come and visit me.
日本から感謝したい。
Okay, brothers and sisters. I think it speaks for itself. I don't think I really have to add much to that. Except a couple of things I want to mention. Now think about this for a minute. He said Master Farrakhan Muhammad only gave him enough wisdom or teachings for about 40 years. Think about that, for 40 years. That's approximately how long he actually taught before he left in 1975. Beginning of 1975. So he only gave him enough for 40 some years. What is that? Why would he say it like that? You know? I mean, it's like Prophet Muhammad saying, well, you only gave me the Quran to last for 500 years or 1,000 years. You see? No, knowledge to last 40 years. So that means the knowledge that he left behind was only good for 40 some years. He talked about things beyond that, but he said he only had 42 years. So think about that one. Eric, Farrakhan, all the clowns out there, 42 years. 42 years. About 40 years. Then he says his mission was to get us back to Africa. So Farrakhan said we ain't going nowhere. So how is he consistent with Elijah Muhammad was teaching? How is he promoting Elijah Muhammad's mission if his mission is to get us back home, but Farrakhan says we're not going anywhere, in spite of the fact that Elijah Muhammad in this interview says the purpose of Master Muhammad is destroy America, burn it up, all of it. And it's been on fire for 390 years. Farrakhan said we're not going anywhere. Keep those things in mind, brothers and sisters. Anyone that heard this, unless they saying photoshopped, there's no way they could be with Farrakhan after listening to this. Not just this, just about anything Elijah Muhammad talked about, and still could call themselves followers of Elijah Muhammad, followers of Master Muhammad, and proclaim that Farrakhan is teaching Elijah Muhammad's teachings, that he's not a hypocrite. Because they're saying Farrakhan was anointed by God. Show me the scriptures where he was anointed by God. God in the scriptures got angry at Moses for even suggesting Farrakhan. For even suggesting Aaron. He says, you don't need him. It was Elijah Muhammad that pointed Farrakhan. God, don't put God's name on that bullshit. Because he didn't have nothing to do with it. He was against it. He said he became angry even at the suggestion of it. So there's a couple of things you might want to consider, brothers and sisters. I'm not going to, as it speaks for itself, I'm not going to push this because, Farrakhan's gone. So this is where it takes place. He's finished. But he's not destroyed until, right? The 5-month plague, locust war, demon war, then he's destroyed. Because there's 9 plagues coming. I intend to talk about that soon. But we're so close, this thing could happen any day now. We're already at war, brothers and sisters. World wars don't start when they start shooting. It starts before that. The shooting is usually the last phase of it, especially in so-called nuclear war. There's not going to be a nuclear war, but America will be nuked. I've been saying it. Elijah Muhammad said it. Farrakhan said we ain't going anywhere. So that means you're going to toasted crispy toasted, whatever you call it? Crispy critters? Unless you say Elijah Muhammad is a liar, and Master Muhammad is a liar. So keep those things in mind. So the purpose to keep devils out. Farrakhan said, no, bring them in. So how in the hell, that's why, brothers and sisters, I'm not telling you what to do. If you want to argue with them all you want. I don't see the point. Because there's no way in the world, especially after listening to something like this, they could even go within 1,000 miles of Farrakhan, or they say demons, vipers, total idiots, agents, any case you want any of them. Because no sane person, no real person could ever be with that fool, that lion, that skunk, that son of a devil, chief demon. Everything speaks against him. All the scripture speaks against him. There's no scripture speak for him. Even the Quran, if Moses wanted to grab him by the beard, wanted to kill him. Even the Quran. So how in the hell is he God's spokesman if Moses wanted to kill him? In the Quran. But they dance all around that because they ain't pay attention because they're demons, they have no choice. And the idiots, they don't know any better. And we don't want them either. And the vipers, well, they want to see what they can get out of it. Help them rip off people. Right? The agents, they keep them on course. Because Farrakhan is not even in control. It tells you the government's controlling him. He's a puppet. I mean, he's so pathetic. The demons got control, but the devil's got control of the demons. The demons got control of, it says, this mouth, right, would make war with the saints. Who are the saints? If you say, aren't you the saints, you're going to inherit the kingdom? It says make war with you for 40 years, overcome you. So if that's not Farrakhan, you got 40 years over misery coming. If that Farrakhan's not the one that's doing it, what about that scripture? And it says that mouth, right, was part of a horn. So it wasn't even in control of itself. Wasn't in control of itself. He's a puppet. He's no good stinking devil. He's a puppet. That's why he got disemboweled. He's cursed with a curse, robbing God. His days are less than numbered. I mean, in my mind, he's already history. Times you got to catch up with him. I'm already looking back at him. I'm looking back at him being roasted, dusted, crushed in the dust. I'm looking back, mine's in the future, right? Okay. Already seen what you're looking to see. I've already seen it. That's the power of the angel. See, foresight. Let me see it before it happens. That means you're ahead of it. You're ahead of it. If you're ahead of it, that means you're not a victim of it. See, that's even more powerful than the 5 fundamental pillars of Islam, right? Because if you're strong enough to take a punch, it's better than miss the punch altogether, ain't it? Okay. Angel gives you the ability to miss the punch altogether. See, I'm ahead, I'm looking back. I already see him roasting. In my mind, he's already gone. He's history. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. We're going to leave it there. But keep that in mind now. Elijah Muhammad said, Master Muhammad gave only enough wisdom for 40 some years. Think about that one. Assalamu alaikum.